Yeah.
So it would be continuous. And yes, there would be measures of standard as you're going through and things are happening, and I would suggest that the completion of the tasks as you're going along in your new tasks that are developed and stuff would be a small measure on an ongoing basis, right? So.
Thank you. Thank you for your feedback.
Discussion. Okay. Any other reports? Anything else you have to report on?
No.
Okay. The mayor's report. The Grand Bend Chamber hosted breakfast with the mayor on Wednesday the 6th. The deputy mayor was also there and spoke. Councillor Scott was in attendance. Monty McNaughton was there and spoke, and the warden for Lamprey County had attended. It was a good meeting. I thank the chamber for hosting that and the opportunity. The Kiwanis Club and Forest had their chili cook-off on Saturday night. First one of that they had 17 different pots of chili. It was fairly well attended. They had an afternoon of tobogganing at the high school. They had over 200 kids on the hill, I guess, at the beginning, and it was perfect weather for that, perfect day for that. I was actually a contestant for the chili thing, and Ginger and I went second.
Was that Ginger's recipe or yours?
It was Ginger's recipe. Okay. I only supervised from across the other side. The second place was voted on. The second place. First place was won by, I believe, the Anglican Church ladies, maybe?
They're pretty hard to beat.
Well, they brought a crowd with them.
Yeah. That's why I'm saying they're hard to beat. They brought a congregation, they didn't bring a crowd. Good for the ladies.
I was quite proud to have won second place in that. Very interesting. And again, as Councillor McGuire said, the upcoming parade on Dan Bend. There's a fireman's breakfast Saturday morning as well. Dan Bend.
They're always good.
That's all that I have. Opportunity for the public to seek clarification on items on the agenda. Dean? Ready?
I would like to seek clarification about the letter that I wrote, but before I do, to the Deputy Mayor in connection with the economic development one that you were just talking about. You mentioned that you had 10 applications and perhaps you were going to have 12. And I know the people that are going to be doing the choosing. I know that you're looking at their expertise and such. Are you planning, let me put it this way, I hope that you are planning a geographical component.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Yes, actually that's very important that it's representative of the entire municipality. Yes, the demographics of the course, there's several things that we want to have represented, but we certainly need to have a reflection of the entire municipality.
Now, the only reason I asked is because your report was very full, and you did say the people that were going to be doing the choosing, and I am delighted to hear that with the demographics, because of course, these municipalities, as they now exist, it's a different world now, I know. When you're putting together committees, there's Exactly.
You had another question regarding the
actually, if I could just follow that up just quickly. Keeping in mind we're only selecting 6 individuals, right? So we have some limitations. It may not be a perfect selection, but depending on the applications and the number of positions we have to fill.
I appreciate that, but I'm delighted to hear that the geography of the situation is
going to be considered.
Thank you. Thank you very much for giving your attention to the letter that I wrote. I'm Jean Dory, I'm sorry. And I understand from the conversation that numbers 3 and 4 that I could go to the office in Forest and get those tomorrow if I wish to. Okay.
The pay grade, yes.
Yes. Numbers 1, 2, 5, and 6, and you have indicated are all going to be available to the public at some time. So in other words, I didn't pick one that wasn't available. I crossed my fingers on that when I was writing.
Not sure.
As I said, I know that there are things that cannot be, as I said in the first sentence. In view of the fact that I realize that a couple of them are tied directly to the choice of the new CAO, Is it your intention then, from my perspective, to do 1, 2, 5, and 6 at the end? Like, it's sort of all or nothing?
I guess we can provide what's available when it becomes available, when we get all the legal costs in to start with. Item number 2, I believe, may not be, because that's a specific person on a specific amount. The pay grid will be there, so I don't know whether we,
But number 2, you don't think I can get then?
I don't believe that would be
Okay.
appropriate. We will check with whether it is
Okay,
or not.
but number 1, I could get before 5 or 6.
Will the numbers be in?
I'm sorry,
Yeah.
I don't know what page it's on in your notes. 66. Thank you.
Page 66.
So I could get one probably within the next couple of weeks or so, is what you're saying?
Yeah, probably for our next council meeting, we can have some of that information.
Okay, and 2, probably I should not have asked for, that it will not be available.
I believe that's correct.
Okay, 3 and 4 I could get tomorrow, and 5 and 6 are still, well, hopefully when I said timely, I thought that was a good word, and I hope it will be 2013.
Should be.
We hope to have a CAO by 2013.
That was what I was trying to
Yeah.
Yeah.
get in at.
Okay,
Thank you.
thank you. Any other questions of clarification of items in the agenda? Mr. Sharon?
A couple of meetings ago, Mr. Mayor, Mr. Dory asked about a report that the former CAO was preparing. You said you would get it, check into it, get it for him. Has that been accomplished yet?
Which report is that?
About the parking, wasn't it, at Richard Watch?
Yeah.
Have you been able to get that yet? Because I found
I
quite
didn't hear which report.
Mr. Byrne was apparently doing a report on the parking lots, et cetera. down
Oh,
there.
okay, L&R parking lots?
Yes.
Yeah, I think we're still working on that.
And you weren't able to find the report that he was writing.
It'll-
I just don't tell, sorry.
Also, at the breakfast meeting, you mentioned about South Bend, the new owner was prepared to start at any time. That raises a couple, number of questions. One, when was the agreement with the new owner negotiated, the development agreement?
I believe the agreement was purchased with the property.
Can't be.
Okay.
They didn't have the right to sell that asset. And number 2, when was the bylaw passed for the municipality to enter into the development agreement with the new developer? Obviously, that wasn't done.
He's gotta come forward, I think, yeah.
Yeah, it's enough to register.
Yeah.
It has to be registered, brought in.
Okay, I'll change my next question and, are you going to make sure you collect money for the development charges this time?
We have development charges in place, yes?
I'm asking.
It's the building
department
permit.
this time as part of the agreement, because you didn't the last time.
That's true.
It's done when they get a building permit. That development charges are paid when a building permit's issued.
So you mean that the taxpayers are gonna carry the several $1 million to the developer until each lot is built on?
I'm not clear on what you're asking for.
Development
But this wasn't on the agenda also, so I don't know
Well, the
what.
breakfast.
That's right, you,
Well, I mentioned the breakfast, so now everything's ready. Okay. I don't believe it was on the agenda. I mentioned the breakfast in my council report. It wasn't an item on the agenda for business to be discussed. South Bend Estates was not on the
you
agenda.
want me to shut up and not ask embarrassing questions?
You can ask whatever question you want if you think it's embarrassing to me, Mr. Chair.
It's not on the agenda, you can't ask.
Bit of order.
Actually, I can't.
Okay, I'll order.
You keep the order.
I'll keep the order.
Okay.
You asked the question. Clarification questions.